Hi, this is Heidi from Garden Crossings, and I was just walking through the garden center and noticed this beautiful aqua pot here. We had this planted outside all summer, and we just brought it in here now that it's fall. And it stopped me in my tracks, and I thought, you know what, I need to talk about these plants that are used in this combination. So let's take a look at the different plants that we used this year in this combination, and I'm going to spell out some of the different features of them. Obviously, these are all in a container, but I'm going to also tell you different uses for them if you want to use them in the landscape. All right, so let's take a look at some of the different plants that were used here in this combination. So the first one here is the Rockin' Salvia. This is the fuchsia color, and it's really a very bold, bright fuchsia pink. The thing I like about this plant is even when it's not in flower, you can see there how the buds are such a nice dark color, and even those look really nice when they're not fully open. So the reason why we use salvia here is because this is a great plant to attract hummingbirds, and we wanted to attract hummingbirds to this combination. This also can be used in the ground in the landscape. It's more of a thriller. As you can see here in the pot, it's pretty tall as well, but it gets about 18 to 24 inches tall if you plant it in the ground. So if you're looking to attract hummingbirds, this is great for a full sun location, and just has these stunning upright flowers on it. And that's the Rockin' Salvia. This is the fuchsia color. We also have in here cerveza and lime, and this is a great, just kind of a foliage plant. It's got kind of a soft texture to it, and if you smell it, it smells like lime. So it's not only a neat texture plant, it has a great fragrance to it. So as you come through and you maybe brush up against your planters or in your landscape, you get this refreshing lime scent. This is typically more of a ground cover filler type annual. In this container, you can see that it's got a little bit of an upright habit, so it's going to be more of like a ground covering mounding type look if you plant it in the ground. But pretty much this is grown just for its foliage interest as well as its wonderful fragrance. If you have kids or grandkids, this is a great plant. If you want to get them out in the garden and just do a little bit of that touching and feeling and taking in the scents of the garden, this is a great plant for that. We also use the Lime-Time Coleus, which is this bright green you're seeing here. Coleus are a great plant for full sun to full shade. Now, personally, we find that the Color Blaze Coleus, the more sun that they get, the better coloration they have. So Lime-Time in this planter is about 24 to 30 inches tall, and it does get quite tall in the landscape as well. So we're using it here as a thriller, just for foliage interest, to kind of mix in here with some of the annuals that we have. So in the landscape, you could use Coleus as like a back of the border if you want to have some interesting height in the back of your gardens. Coleus definitely will do that. It's also a great standalone container plant, so if you want to just plant one singular Coleus or mix a couple different colors together, it's a great plant for containers as well. I just want to point out, if you are using Coleus in containers, you want to make for sure that you have a large enough container for the plants that you're putting in it. And we also have in here the Supertunia Mini Vista White, and you can see how this has done a really great job here of trailing over and filling out kind of the bottom of the container. So I think it's important when you create containers that you not only have color on the top, but you also take the color down so that it goes also down to the bottom. Mini Vista White is a great plant for containers and the landscape. Beautiful, crisp, clean white petunia flowers. Something to point out with all the Supertunias is they're self-cleaning, so you don't need to deadhead them to keep them looking good. One thing I want to point out, if you have Supertunias in your planter, is that you fertilize them at least once a week. So they are hungry plants, and so if you can fertilize them once a week, you'll keep them looking fabulous. And the last plant I want to point out, and it's kind of hidden in here, is the Tradescantia. This is the Wandering Jew. It's a great foliage plant, and it mixes in really nicely with these Supertunias. It's a trailing plant, so it's more of like a filler. So spills over the edge and just kind of fills in the gaps. So you can see here in this combination how it's just kind of poking through. The thing I like about it is it's got great great foliage interest to it. So it's something we'll put in the containers just to add a little extra texture from the foliage contrast amongst all the other plants. So if you're looking to create a beautiful combination, maybe this is a little bigger than what you would typically plant up, but don't be afraid to use these plants in other elements as well. I mean, here we have them in this beautiful aqua pot, but think about, you know, disassembling this and using these great colors and textures in the landscape as well. All these plants, like I stated, are great in the landscape and in containers. So if you're looking to create something interesting and unique, here you go. Great ideas from Garden Crossings. This is Heidi from Garden Crossings.